So June, how are you doing? Did you have an adventure this morning? After leaving Cuyahoga Valley National Park, June and I really didn't have a plan. I meandered east and landed in Steubenville for the day. The Veterans Memorial Bridge to Weirton, West Virginia caught my eye, and so we headed across and just kept going. Right across the Panhandle and into Pennsylvania. With only the desire to stay off highways and away from tolls, we headed south and into a region new to me, the Laurel Highlands. The Laurel Highlands run along the western ridge of the Appalachian Mountains, spanning 3 counties and 3,000 square miles. When I took a quick stop to research where I was headed, I learned that the Laurel Highlands is known for its waterfalls, whitewater rafting, and spectacular scenery. The region is also home to Frank Lloyd Wright's waterfall and Kentucky Knob houses, Mr. Rogers' birthplace, and the Flight 93 crash site. There were so many things to explore here that it was almost overwhelming. I decided to focus on nature and the scenery. So here's the view from Mother Maybelle's front window as we drove the final leg of our trip. We stayed at Bear Run Nature Reserve on our first night. The reserve surrounds the Frank Lloyd Wright Waterfall House and has several trails I hope to enjoy. If you stay here, know that the property has security guards that come through the night, and they will check with you. They allow one-night stays, and my experience was they were very kind. So, this morning was eventful. Decided to do the Paradise Overlook Trail, and it's not well marked at all. The morning was misty and quiet, almost mystical. And the dew highlighted some beautiful spider webs that I enjoyed filming. There were no signs, and I wasn't even sure we were in the right place, but thankfully one of the employees from Waterfall House saw my confusion and told me I just had to go straight back. Don't turn off on any of the side roads or paths. Just go straight back. So, with a bit more confidence, June and I settled into our hike, enjoying the sights and smells of a foggy fall morning. Even the wildflowers seemed in solidarity with the wispy white that surrounded us, as only the white ones caught my eye. This is a very pale wood aster. You can almost see the blue. This is oxeye daisy. It's typically labeled a noxious weed. It was introduced from Europe and then escaped from perennial gardens. Here's a native plant. This is snake root. Indigenous Americans use this as a poultice on snake bites. On the other side of those trees is the property Falling Water, Frank Lloyd Wright's famous 1935 design for the Kaufman family from Pittsburgh. It's cantilevered over the Bear Run waterfall. Sadly, I didn't get to visit the home because they were booked solid during my stay. Falling Water is surrounded by Bear Run Nature Reserve, and both are properties of the Western Pennsylvania Conservancy. The second generation of the Kaufman family donated the waterfall house and 1,500 acres to the Conservancy with the agreement that it all would be preserved. Their website shares that the nature reserve is home to black bears, bobcats, native trout, and 53 species of birds, among other wildlife. Thankfully, June and I didn't see any bear or bobcats. As we hiked, the path changed significantly. I was beginning to wonder if we'd gone awry. I was so glad to see this little hiking sign and to know that we were still going the right direction. We continued to hike dutifully straight back. Even when this marker pointed to the left, we weren't fooled. And then we crested the hill. I was sure the overlook was close by, but it wasn't. The path was much wider, more for utility vehicles rather than foot traffic. I finally pulled up my All Trails app. And we went the wrong direction for a little bit, so headed back. We'd already done almost 2 miles by that point, and we're only used to doing 2 or 3 miles at a time. So I got to the turn we missed, and it was overgrown, and June didn't want to go. Typically, if I just give her a little bit of a tug, she'll go ahead and follow me, but this time she was insistent, and she wriggled out of her lead and was gone. Typically, she comes back when I call her name, but something about that turn in the trail really spooked her, and she was gone. Oh my goodness. So I called Falling Waters. The Bear Run Nature Reserve and Falling Waters is basically the same property. And so I called them, and their security was going to look for her and watch on the camera. And before I could get back to the van, I got a phone call. Thankfully, I have a QR code tag on June. This is the QR code thing I'm talking about. I got it at, I think it was either PetSmart or We Love Pets. And I think it was $25. Best $25 I ever spent. So right now I have the tag on the back of her harness. I have the collar off her neck right now because we're treating a spot, but there's the size of the tag, and the QR code's on the other side. And people scan it, and it brings up June's name, my name, and our phone number. Quite the handy little thing. And they had scanned it, and it got my name and phone number, and they called me, and she had gone back to the parking lot. She had gone back to the van, and she was playing with a set of dogs and 3 people there. So they held on to her and kept her for me. It took me about 10 more minutes to get back to the parking lot, but oh, so thankful for those kind people, and so thankful for that QR code. And thankful that she's such a friendly dog, that she'll go to people, and that she got across the road safely. That is the highway she crossed. People just fly down that. So she's a little shook up today. So am I. So June, how are you doing? Did you have an adventure this morning? Yeah. Tuckered you out, didn't it? You sure can run fast. You're not going to look at me? I'm so glad you're back. You want to go for a drive? June, you want to go for a drive? Let's go for a drive. Let's go for a drive.